Nerds, what's up? Today we are doing a review for a book that I just recently read, which is Nevernight by Kristoff. I'm so excited! Nevernight by Kristoff is our Bibliobook Club book of the quarter. So this was our book for February through April, so it's just coming up towards the end of the time when we're going to be reading this, and then our live show will be in May at some time. Please follow our Bibliothon Twitter because we're always announcing there. This book is about a girl named Mia Corvair, or Corvair, I don't know, and she comes from the rich part of town. She used to live like in the center of the city kind of, and she used to be an elite, and her father was killed for treason back in the day. Her mother and her brother were supposed to be murdered or put in prison, but Mia escaped, and she has magic, and I don't really want to go too much into detail about that, but in the end she decides she wants to become an assassin for the Red Church in order to avenge her father and her family. This book, let's get into it. No spoilers for right now, but I do want to talk about the writing, which was very interesting. I'm not sure if I liked it. This was a 4 out of 5 stars for me, and I think most of my problems actually stem from the way that this book was written. It was pretty disjointed for me. Asterisks throughout the thing, and then it'll have footnotes, I guess. I think they're called footnotes. They have a lot of footnotes at the end of the page, and so while you're reading it'll asterisk something, and then it'll give you history about what's going on, since this is a fantasy novel about a girl who lives in a world that is nothing like our own. So it was very informational, and I did enjoy what I was learning about the world, and I liked that it was different. However, I felt it was really disjointed, and I found myself getting kind of frustrated as I was reading because I just wanted to read it, whereas this kind of made me like stop and go here and then come back and lose my place, and then so many things. So that was kind of frustrating, but definitely not the end of the world. More positive was that they have this italicized kind of like history backstory that's going on, and that is a past Mia, and then they have most of the time the Mia that you're watching in present time, and I really liked that. Now, one thing that was kind of, I don't know how I feel about it in regards to writing, was they do switch points of view very infrequently. It only happens a few times within the novel. So when it did happen, it was kind of like shocking and took me out of the story a little bit because I had to get used to the fact that I wasn't in Mia's perspective, and what you find out from those perspectives was fantastic and interesting, and I liked that I got that perspective, but it just, because it was so infrequent, it was kind of jarring for me. I did like in all of that there's a lot of comedy in this book, and a lot of even like the way that the narrator speaks to the reader sometimes is comedic, and I just really liked all of that stuff. And I really loved the plot. It had a lot of Arya Stark from Game of Thrones vibes, so if you watch Game of Thrones or if you've read Game of Thrones and you love Arya Stark, you will for sure love Mia Corvair. You'll for sure love the Red Church too. It feels very much like the house, what is it called? The room with no faces or something, and a girl has no name and a girl is no one. All of that felt very much like this book. This book felt very much like that, and I really loved it. It was almost a little bit too similar at times, but it still was really good. She reminds me a lot of Selena Sardothian too from the Throne of Glass series. I loved the amount of politics and the politics that we got of this. It's very intense, it's a lot of learning, and so it was probably good that we had those footnotes that were kind of jarring at the beginning especially, but the politics in this novel and in this world, so good. I loved it. I loved everything about that, and I just love a good fantasy novel with some good politics, which really means with some awful politics, but you know. With all of that said, now is the time to leave if you have not read this book yet and you don't want to be spoiled, because I'm gonna go into some details because I have a lot to talk about because this book was so good. So go and read it, come back for our live show if you would like, and it'll be on the Bibliothon channel, so I'll link that down below as well. And oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh my god, I just cannot get over Ash and her brother being the people who were killing everyone. Like, I did not see that coming. There was no part of my mind that thought it would be them. I don't I mean, like, once it comes all together, it makes so much sense, but did anyone see it coming? Like, who saw that coming? Because I want to know how you did. What did you see? I also love that we got Trick and his backstory and his history and his people's history and all that stuff. I found it all fucking, like, awful, but fascinating. Does that make sense? Like, Trick's dad, or I mean grandpa, and so good. I love that we got to humanize him and that he wasn't just the love interest, like he was also in and of itself a person in this story, and he had his own reasons for being at the Red Church, and we got to delve into those reasons, and I'm really sad he's dead. I really hope he's not dead, but I also loved that he could smell well. Like, such an interesting choice. Moving on to more magic. Darken magic or Darkeen magic, I'm not sure how to say it, but Mia and Cassius, they're magic and they're not cat and they're not wolf, and so interesting. Like, I loved that her magic isn't this like end all be all, because when she puts her cloak on she can't see, and I loved that watching her go through her like detrimental past is part of why she had very little control over her magic to begin with, and then she kind of like builds on it as we watch. She's like so fucking powerful. And Cassius, I'm really sad that Cassius is dead. I would have liked to see more of a mentorship there, so I'm really disappointed that he's dead, but I also really like that now she has two shadow animals and they like fight, and I love the shadow animals. Like, they are just as much characters of this story as Mia and Trick and Ash and Lottie, and Lottie's dead and she was so great. I also want to talk about Nave. I found Nave really fascinating. I found it interesting that because she loved the speaker Adonai, his sister made her ugly and like wouldn't give her a beautiful face. And I would really love to get more in depth of, like, I know that they kind of talked about it, but I would really love to get more in depth of why Marielle, or Marlene, I don't remember what her name is, Marielle sounds more right, why she hates Nave so much. Like, at the end she does give Nave her face back because she owed Mia, and that's what Mia asked for, but I would really love to get more information about like what went down and why there's this weird triangle there. Is there some incest going on? Like, is she jealous of Nave? That seems like likely, and that'd be really interesting, and I would love to see it. The sex scenes in this book, so good. It got me all hot and bothered. I love when a YA novel can do that. Or, I don't even think this is technically YA, I think it's technically new adult or adult because of that. But holy shit! I just realized that my cover is on backwards and I'm upset about it. You know, I never understood that. How being named for a woman's nethers is somehow more grievous than any other insult. Seems to me calling someone after a man's privates is worse. I mean, what do you picture when you hear a fellow called a cock? But you call someone a cunt, well, you're implying a sense of malice there, an intent, malevolent and self-aware. Don't think I named Consul Scava a cunt to gift him insult. Cunts have brains, Don Trick. Cunts have teeth. Someone calls you a cunt, you take it as a compliment, as a sign that folk believe you're not to be lightly fucked with. I think they call that irony. Ah, such a good little long line. That is pretty much everything I have to say in short about Nevernight by J. Kristoff, but I'm so excited to talk about this coming up soon here with the Bibliothon girls. Give me some comments down below if you want to talk about Nevernight and what you thought of it, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys very soon with a new video. I make them every Sunday and Wednesday, so I'll see you guys soon. Bye!